Hello and welcome back. It is officially birthday week at our house. We have a lot going on, a lot to do, and I have some awesome new recipes for you that are a must try this summer. So let's get right into it. I am starting off today in the kitchen with a brand new recipe. I came across this recipe for a Dr. Pepper pie, and it was one of those times where I see a recipe and I immediately run to the store to get all the ingredients. Now, as you can tell, I am using Dr. Thunder because we are balling on a budget over here. So if you have Dr. Pepper, go ahead and use that. I'm also thinking that this might actually be really good with Coke. It doesn't have an overwhelming Dr. Pepper taste, and which I really like because I am not a fan of Dr. Pepper. However, whenever I saw this recipe, I was like, this is a must make. We host for 4th of July, and I knew that there are so many people that are coming that will absolutely want to try this. So this was something that I wanted to test out, and I'm so glad I did because, spoiler alert, it is incredible. I will have the recipes for today's video listed down below in the description box if you're wanting to try any of these out for yourself, but I have a cup of Dr. Pepper going in this bowl. I added milk, and I have 2 different boxes of vanilla pudding. One is a sugar-free, honestly, because I had the normal vanilla pudding already on hand, so when I went to the store, all they had left was the sugar-free. I'm assuming because of the holiday. So we did not have any of that, and I honestly don't think you can really tell. So I have 1 sugar-free vanilla added into that, and you will notice I'm going to switch the directions up a little bit down below from what I'm actually doing in the video, only because after I made this, I realized that it could have been done a little bit differently. So I was following along with the video that I was watching, and how she did it. She had a lot of like homemade puddings and homemade whipped creams and stuff like that, which you could absolutely use if that's what you had on hand. I love homemade whipped cream, and I make that a lot, but I was trying to keep things very simple, and I already had the whip topping on hand, so I just went ahead and used that. So anyway, I am going to be switching things up, and I'll go ahead and do things a little bit differently in the directions down below. So if you do try this, that's why it's going to seem a little different. I'm getting all of the ingredients mixed together, and then I'm going to put them in this prepared pie shell. I got a graham cracker pie shell from the store. Again, if you like making your own, you definitely can do that, but we're just trying to keep things simple over here. We have so much going on that I'm looking to do all the simple things that I possibly can. So I'm going to put this into the pie crust, and then I'm going to put it in the freezer after I add some toppings on it and let it just kind of sit and freeze for about 2 hours. So like I said, this pie has a very subtle Dr. Pepper taste. I ended up adding in more Dr. Pepper because at first I thought it was a little too subtle. So I added in about a cup when it called for, I think, 3/4 of a cup. So I added in a little bit more, possibly even slightly more than a cup, just because I was trying to get that Dr. Pepper flavor across. As I mentioned, I am not a Dr. Pepper person. I never have been. And I think several of my kids really don't care for it either. I know my oldest loves Dr. Pepper. It's one of his favorites, but I'm not a fan. So if you are like me and you want to try to switch it, I feel like it actually had a very good flavor. It was subtle enough to where I enjoyed this pie. But if you really, really dislike Dr. Pepper, you could absolutely switch it to like a Coke or something like that. This ended up being such a hit that I'm actually going to make a couple more for our big 4th of July bash. And now that I have the toppings on, I'm going to cover it and put it in the freezer for a couple of hours. Before we work on our next recipe, I'm going to head outside and work on this bush. As you can tell, it is like covering the gate portion, and a lot of people are going to be in and out of this gate for our party, so I'm wanting to get this trimmed. And the funny thing is, I've already trimmed this bush this year, so it's a little wild that it is huge. So in order to trim the top, I'm actually going to have to get on a ladder, so I just went ahead and did this portion, and the top can be my husband's problem when he comes home. We were also looking at pictures the other day from a couple of years ago when we first moved in, and it's interesting because you cannot even tell that we have bushes behind this fence at all. Like, you cannot see that they even exist. So I'm sure they were really, really little, and it is wild how in just a couple of years they have grown to be this big. We actually really, really like them this big. I mean, not this big, but we like them very tall because we are on a golf course. We're right on hole 13. And so it adds a lot of privacy in our pool area, which obviously we really like. So we, although we trim them every single year, we like keeping them tall for privacy reasons. As I mentioned, we have a large annual 4th of July party here. So we have the pool, we're right on the golf course where they do the fireworks, and we actually have a perfect view from the hole that we're on. So a lot of times we have like bags set up in this side yard here. We have a bunch of tables that we set up and put out. Everybody just enjoys the pool. We play volleyball. It's a whole thing. And then once the sun goes down, we go up on the golf course and we have like our own personal show. So anyway, we host every 4th of July, and I feel a lot better now that I have this bush out of the way and it's not going to be hitting anybody in the head or anything while they're trying to walk back and forth through. Another thing I'm wanting to work on are these chairs. They sit out year round, so they're kind of like covered in dust and debris that kind of flies around through the air. So I'm wanting to get them just hosed off. I just put some soap on them. I sprayed them with my cleaner, which was a mixture of pine salt and water, and then I put some dish soap, and I'm just spraying these down. I'll let them dry in the sun. I wanted to show a mixture of the recipes I found in today's video along with some of our party prep. So that is why you're going to see, like, we're going to go back and forth. We'll go back in the kitchen and work on another really wonderful recipe, but I will also kind of include, I didn't do this all in one day. You'll see that I have outfit changes because it is like at least 1.5 million degrees here every day this week, and it was so hot. So I was working out here in little spurts, and there was a couple times that actually my camera overheated, my phone overheated, and I had to go back inside. So it is very hot. We are in the upper 90s, feel like temperatures are 110. So it is very hot here, and a lot of this week, like I said, we did a bunch of party planning and getting stuff, taken care of and prepped. As you can see, I'm moving around furniture and just getting things kind of rearranged a little better. And then we also did a lot of time in the pool. So we're going to be kind of going back and forth in today's video. One thing, okay, so I'm arranging furniture because I'm bringing out like other chairs. We wanted to bring a table out here for people to sit at. And I have mentioned in a bunch of outside videos before that our outback area is shaped really weird. Our pool is the shape of like a guitar pick. And so the patio around it is shaped kind of similar. It just kind of borders that. And some areas are very thin and some areas are a little wider. Some areas are sloped, and it's a very weird layout, and it's kind of difficult to put furniture out in certain areas. So I had these lounge chairs in a different area. However, this area was a little bit wider, and so I thought, we're going to have a lot of people. This will be a little bit of an easier area for people to walk around these chairs. So I'm moving those. I rearranged the bench. I'm all over the place in this video. So that was about all I did that day. Then we went ahead and we got in the pool and we just relaxed the rest of the day. We will jump back outside in just a minute, but now we are in the kitchen and we're going to be working on a tried and true recipe. I make this every year. This is always a recipe that I still have people ask me for this recipe. So this is definitely a good one. This is tomato pie. This is a great recipe that if you have your own garden and you have an abundance of tomatoes, this is a wonderful recipe to have on hand. And I think that's kind of how it started, actually. I had a bunch of tomatoes from my garden that I wanted to use up, so I made a couple of tomato pies. I'm just going to be slicing up these tomatoes in really thick slices. I kind of tried to show you about the thickness. Now you can do them thinner or thicker, however you're wanting to do it. And I'm going to arrange them into deep dish pie crust. I always use the store-bought ones just because it's easier probably. I know around the holidays I make a lot of my own pie crust, but for this I think I try to be a lot quicker about it and I get the pie crust from the freezer section. Now I just want to stress though, you will want the deep dish ones. Again, I will have the recipe listed down below in the description box if you're wanting to try out this recipe. And I am just mixing all of the ingredients together. And for the first time, I actually have like basil going really well, like in abundance in my garden. So I'm going to use that instead of dried basil for this recipe. So we're going to head outside, cut some basil, and bring that in for our pies. I got my basil washed. Now I'm going to get it cut, and then I have all of my ingredients for this pie already all set out. I've pre-baked the pie crust and I'm going to get this cut up and then we will layer them into the pie shell. This recipe is also a very versatile one. If you're wanting to add something like bacon or ham, I think it would be a really great addition. I have never ever done that, although I think it would be a really good addition. I just like to keep it very simple, and because they are very, very well received, I just kind of keep it the same. So I always make I think this year I'm making 3-ish of these pies. I'm not quite sure. I usually make at least 2 of these because we don't really have leftovers. So I'm just depending. I might end up making more this year, but like I said, these are very versatile. If you're wanting to add different things or different herbs, anything like that, you could definitely do that. So I am layering the tomatoes in here. I cut up some in littler pieces just to kind of put in the empty spaces. I'm adding salt, pepper, adding in our basil over top. If you don't have fresh, you can definitely use dried. That's usually what I use, but like I said, this year I have it in abundance in the garden, so I'm just going to be using that. Then I'm going to take my cheese mixture, I'll spread that evenly over the top, and then I like to top mine with some chopped up green onions before I put it in the oven to bake. And here's how this turned out. This is also something that I like putting in the freezer. These freeze very, very well. So you can do that if you're wanting to make these ahead of time. But this just screams summer for me. This is something that I absolutely love making, and I usually make it every single summer. Okay, so we are heading back outside to do a couple more chores that I'm wanting to get done. And I think I had a heat stroke this day because why am I wearing pants? It was like 1.5 million degrees, and here I am wearing pants, but I was super comfortable. I love this outfit. So anyway, that if you're curious why I'm wearing pants, it's because I had a heat stroke, obviously. So I am filling up our bird feeders. I also did do our hummingbird feeders. If you have hummingbird feeders, here's your reminder that during these really, really hot days, you definitely want to switch those out for them. So I'm getting everything switched out, getting our bird friends fed, and then we're going to move on to the next task. Now, when I say task, okay, I feel like I'm the definition of one of those people in these videos where it's like, oh, we're having guests over and my husband is, I don't know, painting the siding or something. I don't know what it is, but that's like literally me. Or like what is the husband doing in those videos? I see them on the internet. They pop up where it's like they're hosting a party and the husband is like out like moving dirt or something. Like literally, it does not matter. It's not necessary for the party. I feel like I am the definition of that. Like I'm the husband. So I'm out here doing something that literally did not need done at all, but I'm just like, here, let me paint this table that I got on Facebook Marketplace so many months ago and have just completely forgot about and left alone, but let me just paint that real quick. And then not only that, I don't think I actually show it. I think my video was too long, but I went ahead and I went to like all of our outdoor furniture and proceeded to paint little touch-ups, odds and ends. And I was kind of laughing at myself after this. I'm like, I definitely had to have suffered something because I'm out here in pants and painting all this furniture. So anyway, I painted that and I like how it looks now. I still have to do the bottom, but that will be definitely after the party. So anyway, we got that figured out. We got that all finished and we're going to head back into the kitchen and start on some ice cream. If you've been here a while, I made this ice cream recipe last year for the first time. However, we made it a bunch of times because it is a tried and true recipe and it is absolutely incredible. My kids, when I say they love this, I mean, I was upstairs editing a video yesterday and the kids were downstairs having ice cream for dessert, and my 8-year-old Lincoln, he came upstairs and he was like, your ice cream is better than any store-bought ice cream I have ever had. Like he was just raving about it. So anyway, that is what I'm making. That is pretty much on a repeat in our house during the summer. This ice cream is so good, and I am just making a base, and I'll put the base down below in the description box, and I kind of just go off of that. So the base is kind of just a vanilla ice cream, and it is incredible. It's one of my favorite vanilla ice creams, but if you're wanting other flavors, you can definitely just add to it. So the one I'm making is actually a coffee and chocolate chip ice cream. So I will add in espresso. I'm going to make that here. And I'm making this because my daughter, it's her birthday. She does not eat any cake though. She hates frosting of most kinds. There's a couple homemade ones that she likes. But for the most part, she does not ask for cake anymore for her birthdays. She always wants like an ice cream sundae. So this was the one she wanted this year. So she's getting coffee ice cream with chocolate chips. And I want to say that this is like probably everyone's favorite in the house. We also make mint ice cream when we have fresh mint in the garden. And chocolate, of course. But this is definitely one of the favorites. So like I said, I'll have this down below in the description box if you're wanting to try it. I have the base going. I'm going to temper in the eggs, and then we're going to let it cool down. I kind of let it thicken before I temper in the eggs. Once it gets to like a thicker consistency, I'll temper the eggs and then I let it cool down before I add in the cream. So that is what I'm doing. And then I won't end up sharing a finished product only because it kind of takes a while. I got a new ice cream machine this year and I'm still kind of getting used to it. And so it takes a little bit of time to get all of the components ready for it. So this is basically how you'll make the ice cream, and then whatever ice cream machine you have, depending on the instructions, you'll just put this right into the ice cream machine, and in no time you will have, I swear, the most delicious ice cream. So we are done with all my little piddling projects, is what I call them. And we're going to move on to actual party prep. I have tables set out. We're going to start decorating. Now, my daughter and I, we were sitting here the day before, and I'm like, it'd be really cool if we could do streamers above the pool. And that sounds like a really great idea. However, and I felt like it looked cool too. So my oldest and my daughter are out here and they're helping me put these out, and we're trying to figure out how to do it. We've never done this before. And then they kept falling and just kind of not turning out how we were wanting them. So you'll see, we'll end up switching it out. But that was like the big ordeal we were trying to do, and we were trying to do it while my husband was at work because I knew that he would be like, that's not gonna work from like the get-go. And I like to kind of try things out a little bit. So we were testing this out. Like I said, actually it was like a whole family affair. My oldest was out here. The younger two boys, they were running back and forth because we only had one thing of tape and one thing of like tacks. So they were kind of running back and forth and bringing it to me or my daughter that was upstairs on the balcony, and she was dropping down the streamers, and it was just like a whole thing. So we probably did this the whole hardest way possible, but we tested it out. We saw that it didn't work, and we moved on from that. But it's funny because I always have these like elaborate, whimsical, fun ideas, and my oldest two, actually probably all my kids, they all are like so there for it. Like they always are like, okay, let's try it. And I love that. I love that my kids are always like, yeah, let's give that a go. And that is exactly why we do it while my husband's at work, because he is not one of those people. So anyway, let's get some decorations hung, and then at the very end I will share kind of how everything turned out. We won't do 100% of a walkthrough of how everything turned out for the 4th, only because we are a little too far out from it, so there obviously won't be the last minute decorations and party prep that is put out, but I wanted to share at least what we have so far. So at this point, we still have the streamers up. We haven't decided that they weren't working. And I have this tinsel that I'm wanting to put up. So it didn't go across this entire entrance, which I was happy about because we will have kids that are in and out of the pool, and I don't want it getting in the way of that. This ended up being the perfect amount and the perfect size. It is really going to work out without getting in the way, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, I'm getting that hung. I have a little USA banner that I will put in the middle there, and we keep the balloons up. If you saw them at the beginning of the video, we keep the balloons up. So a lot of times we decorate for mine and her birthday, and we'll just do patriotic theme, and then that will be like our birthday decorations, but we keep them up also for the 4th of July. So we'll have decorations indoors and outdoors. Okay, we are going to scrap this idea. I thought it was a really cute idea. However, we just get way too much wind back here. So instead of the streamers going to here, because they just keep falling, I'm instead going to wrap them around each of these poles. And then I think also those poles too. So let's do that real quick. and I think that will just hold so much better. I think after this year, I'm going to have to start investing in some decorations that I can reuse. I went this year and they were already out of basically everything. So a lot of the decorations, like the tinsel that I hung, we reuse that for like every single birthday. That's something that I usually always have on hand. These flags, all the stuff that we have out is pretty much stuff that we reuse. And I'm just going to have to invest in a little bit more of that because they were pretty much out by the time I went to go get some, and all they had left were streamers. So I got some streamers from the dollar store and we're going to make it work. It ended up turning out really cute. I'm sharing with you my duck. So I have one on the front porch and that is all in patriotic gear. It looks super cute. But my son ended up going and getting me a birthday gift, and that is what he got me. He got me a porch goose for out back, so we put a little bikini on it, and super cute and so thoughtful. Anyway, I'm just kind of sharing the decorations that we hung and how they turned out, but that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.